We begin with that breaking news, the U.S. attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The American military now directly participating in Israel's conflict aimed at squashing Iran's nuclear capabilities. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Jory Rand. Thank you for joining us on yet another very consequential Saturday night. We want to show you what's happening right now. This is video just in from the West Bank where you can see a new barrage of Iranian missiles is headed towards Israel. Israel's Iron Dome defense system working to intercept them as people take shelter in Tel Aviv and across the country.
Tehran also promising to retaliate against the U.S. as we see a buildup of American military in the Middle East. The world on edge as the situation develops rapidly. Iran's nuclear agency confirming U.S. warplanes bombed its Fordo, Esfahan, and Natanz atomic sites. President Trump telling the American people the facilities were completely and fully obliterated. We have team coverage. Tim Caputo has reaction from local Iranians. We begin with Tim Pulliam live in the newsroom with what this escalation could mean for the U.S. in the region.
Sophie, Jory, a national security expert tells me he doesn't foresee a U.S. boots-on-the-ground war with Iran. But with Iran launching new missiles toward Israel tonight, this pushes the U.S. and Israeli forces into a deeper conflict with the country. Iran's nuclear bomb facilities no longer a threat after President Trump ordered a surprise strike this weekend. Trump addressing the nation Saturday.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
A decision that will likely define his second term. The White House releasing this image of the president with his national security team in the Situation Room during the orchestrated attack. The U.S. missile launch comes after Trump set a 2-week deadline to decide whether the U.S. would join Israel's attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praising the president's move.
Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history.
A U.S. official tells ABC News B-2 stealth bombers were used in the strikes, but it was not clear at which locations seen here on this map.
This is pretty significant.
National security analyst Hal Kempfer doubts the strikes will lead to U.S. military boots on the ground because of Iran's sprawling terrain. But he says the U.S. will have to prepare for direct and indirect retaliation.
The fear is retribution. The fear is that Iran would use its clandestine network, either directly or indirectly through its proxies around the world, to include Los Angeles, where they might do some sort of terrorist strike, asymmetric attack to further what they would perceive as their interests in that regard. This is part of the operational risk of dealing with Iran in any level.
Sources tell ABC News House Speaker Mike Johnson was briefed ahead of the attack, but apparently some top Democrats were not. Minority House Leader Hakeem Jeffries posting on X, quote, "I pray for the safety of our troops in the region who have been put in harm's way. President Trump misled the country about his intentions, failed to seek congressional authorization for the use of military force. Donald Trump shoulders complete and total responsibility for any adverse consequences." The president sending a sharp warning to Iran to make peace.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Iran's foreign minister is calling the U.S. military action criminal and will have everlasting consequences. Now, it's not clear how many people died or were injured as a result of the strike, if any. The UN nuclear watchdog says there's no increase in off-site radiation levels after the attack. Now, a recent Washington Post poll showed 45% of Americans surveyed opposed a military strike. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will share more details about the operation in a press conference tomorrow morning. Tim Pulliam, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Tim, thank you.